Good morning to all. Today you will learn about mapping skills and information skills. Okay? In that we'll start from 13th lesson, the world between wars, from 1900 to 1950, part 1. Okay, right? Look at these pictures. Identify the person in the picture and write 2 sentences about him. This is, you observe that, Eric Hobsbawm, the British historian. He called the 20th century as the age of extremes. See that, another one. Observe this picture and write the answers. In examination, definitely this kind of questions will come. At the time you should not confuse. If you listen and watch, then you will get good marks, right? What is the picture shows? Observe here picture. Yes, observe now. Check this. What is the picture shows in that? The picture shows about Hitler's Nazi party at Nuremberg. Second question. Hitler was the dictator of which country? Germany. Was the dictator of Germany. What do you observe in this picture? In this picture, you can clearly observe that strict discipline of Nazi soldiers. Okay, second one. Compare it with the political rallies you have seen. Okay, ఏదైనా పొలిటికల్ ర్యాలీస్ కానీ చూసినట్లయితే దాన్ని కంపేర్ చేయమని ఇచ్చాడు క్వశ్చన్ ఇది. సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఆన్సర్ లైక్ దిస్. What you have to answer it. The aim of Hitler, you can see this. Yes, the aim of Hitler and his Nazi party is to establish racial supremacy in the world. But the present political parties work for the welfare of the people in the democratic ways. Understand? Observe here. Who is in this picture? The woman in the picture is Florence Owens, a Polish immigrant. Polish means here Poland. She is destitute pea picker in California. Okay? What would she be thinking? ఆమె ఏంటి ఆలోచిస్తుంది? షీఈస్ థింకింగ్ హౌ టు ఫీడ్ హర్ చిల్డ్రన్ అండ్ వరింగ్ అబౌట్ ది ఫ్యూచర్. దిస్ ఈస్ డ్యూరింగ్ దట్ గ్రేట్ డిప్రెషన్ పీరియడ్. వెన్ ద గ్రేట్ డిప్రెషన్ took place during 1929 to 39, 10 years. What is meant by Great Depression? Worldwide economic decline triggered by a decline in demand and fall in the prices is known as economic depression or Great Depression. This initially began with a stock market collapse in United States, America. Right? We'll go to that another picture. Observe clearly. See this picture? Yes, you can understand this. What is shown in this picture? The photograph shows that atom bomb blast and Nagasaki in Japan area. Who dropped atom bomb on Nagasaki? America thrown atom bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the 2 cities in Japan during the World War II. Next one. What were the effects of bombing between 1,50,000 to 2,46,000 people were killed with the bombing immediately at the time in 1945, August 6 and August 9. And also people suffering with the leukemia and cancer for decades. Still it is going on. When America was dropped atom bombs on Japan. Already I said you. In 1945, August 6 in Hiroshima, in August 9 in Nagasaki. Understand, children? Observe this, another picture. Yes. Look at. Yes, it is. Right. Observe the painting given and answer the questions. Understand? What do the picture shows about? The picture shows about the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. When the Bolshevik Revolution took place, when did Bolshevik Revolution took place in Russia in 1917. 1917. What is the artist trying to say? అంటే వాళ్ళు ఏం చెప్పాలనుకుంటున్నారు? The artist is trying to tell that Lenin led the revolution with his communist ideals. Who is the giant leader could be? The giant leader shows in the painting is Lenin. This is very important. Next question. The cartoon in Germany with caption "Buy from the Jews, Betray Your People" in 1929. What bias does it shows? Understand? Bias means here difference. The bias it shows is not to buy any product from the Jewish people in Germany. The act of purchasing could prove them to be traitors of Germany. Germany under Hitler exhibited racial supremacy of Nordic. They developed wanton hatred towards Jews. Understand? Nearly 60 lakh Jews were killed by Nazi followers of Hitler. See this bar graph. It related to deaths 1500 to 1999. Yes, questions based on this information. The graph tells about human loss that took place during year 1500 to 1999. Understand? In which century both war deaths and deaths per 1000 are highest? During 20th century. Observe here. During 20th century, from 1900 to 1999, this is period called as 20th century. The war deaths and deaths per 1000 are highest. Understand? Next, sometimes they are asking the death rates difference between 20th century to 18th century or 19th century to 20th century. Different questions. In which decade less death rates occurred? Similar questions they will ask in the examination. You have to answer by using your brain. ఓకే, ఎలాంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ అయినా అడగచ్చు. ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ స్కిల్ సంబంధించి మీరు అక్కడ అబ్జర్వ్ చేసి మీరు ఆన్సర్ చేయాల్సి ఉంటుంది, రైట్? See here another one. What may be the reason for highest war deaths in 20th century? ఇలా కూడా అడగవచ్చు. The war deaths and deaths per 1000 are very highest in 20th century because of the two world wars. You know that. Use of modern destructive weapons such as nuclear bombs, means atom bombs, and other chemical weapons is also another reason. What is the death rate in 20th century? The death rate in 20th century is 44.4 per 1000 people. Understand? Or 4.5%. Another questions. You have to observe the timeline chart and answer these questions. Okay? You can understand easily only. What was the immediate cause of World War I? The immediate cause of World War I was murder of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria by a Serbian fanatic on 20th June in 1914. Right. What was the treaty concluded after World War I? What was the treaty? Means the World War I ended with the Treaty of Versailles. Understand? What was the period of World War I? The period of World War I was 1914 to 1918. What was the period of World War II? 1939 to 1945. Right? What was the peace organization set up after World War I? This is also important. The peace organization set up after the World War I was League of Nations. What was the peace organization set up after World War II? Question changed. See, what is the right answer? The UNO. UNO was established, United Nations of Organization. How many members are there in that? Present 193 countries are there. Observe this timeline chart. It's given here. Beginning of First World War, August 1 in 1914. But according to the timeline chart only, you have to answer that questions. Understand it is. Next, Russian Revolution given in 1917. End of First World War 1918. Treaty of Versailles in 1919. Formation of League of Nations in 1919. Rise of Hitler in Germany in 1933. That famous enabling act also there. Breakout of Second World War, means Second World War broke out. In which year it is? 1939. Right? German invasion of USSR, means Germany attacked on USSR in 1942. And after that, Germany was defeated by USSR in 1943, Stalingrad War. It's not mentioned here. Formation of the United Nations Organization in 1945, October 24. End of Second World War, 1945, August. What was the immediate cause of World War II? Hitler attacked on Poland on September 1st in 1939. It was the immediate cause of World War II. What was the period of World War II? You know that? In 1939 to 1945. What was the organization set up after the World War II? United Nations Organization was set up after the World War II, means established that UNO. What were the aims of United Nations Organization? The aims of the United Nations Organization: preservation, world peace, or preserve the world peace, upholding human rights, respect international laws, and promote the social progress. Understand it is? Who was the responsible person for World War II? The Chancellor of Germany, Hitler, was responsible for the World War II. Understand? Who was the President's Secretary General of UNO? Antonio Guterres. Understand this? Antonio Guterres belong to Portugal. Right? This bar graph is very important. Every time in examination, public exam, asking this. Observe this. Once observe this. Is given years in that x-axis and next one in million pounds given in that y-axis. Understand? Observe this. Okay. What is given that questions? Why did the military expenditure increase for every 10 years? Observe here. Every 10 years military expenditure has been increased. Military expenditure increased for every 10 years because of armament race. Armaments means war related material, and armaments race means their competition among the countries. What are the countries that spend more money on weapons or armaments? Countries like Germany, Great Britain means England, Russia means USSR, Italy and France. These were some big powers spent more money on weapons or armaments. How much was spent on military expenditure in 1914? About 397 million pounds were spent on military expenditure in 1914. What is meant by armament race? The competition between the countries to have best armed forces and more destructive weapons is called armament race. Understood it is? What is the percentage of increase in the military expenditure during 1881 in 1914? Nearly 300%. Very important. Nearly 300%. How much is the increase in military expenditure during 1880 to 1914? 1880 and 1914, in between that. Nearly the military expenditure increased by 265 pounds. What are the results of the wars on the society? Means impact or effects of the war on society. See this. Effects of the war on the society. A large number of people die. A large amount of resources will be wasted. Means we lost that resources. People lost their shelters and their colleagues and relatives, everything. Agriculture lands and industries will be destroyed negatively after the development of the country. This is also mapping skills, map reading. Map reading means you have to read that what given in this picture or in that map, then answer the questions. Understand? Sometimes questions you have to write your own, not given some information in this map. Okay, we'll go to what are the questions given. See that. Name the countries that did not fall under the German Empire. Understand? Here Portugal, Spain, Turkey and Sweden. Understand? And which country belong to Allied group? You can see this Allied group, red color. What is this? Yes, England. You have to understand this. Any type of questions will give in that examination, you have to answer that based on that information or your own also. And next one, see here, what does the picture shows? The picture shows that use of planes during the World War I drop the bombs. This is also very important. World War I only. They dropped that bombs, not atom bombs, bombs only. See this picture. Observe the picture and given that caption. మీరే ఆన్సర్ రాయాల్సి ఉంటుంది. ఏం అబ్జర్వ్ చేశారన్నది. The cartoon shows Hitler as a man of peace and as well as man of war. Both are showing here. Next picture, observe that. In that civilization or barbarism, don't you still understand? Okay. Next picture. Very important. These are all important only. Definitely will ask in that examination. Observe here. This picture belongs to that. This is the city of Nagasaki in Japan. The US dropped that atom bombs on this city on 9th August in 1945. The first part of the picture shows the city before bombing and the second part of the picture after bombing only. అంటే ఫస్ట్ పిక్చర్లో ఏం చూపిస్తున్నాడు, బిఫోర్ బాంబింగ్ అంటే ఆటం బాంబు డ్రాప్ అవ్వకమున్నది, అండ్ సెకండ్ పిక్చర్ షోస్ దట్ ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ బాంబింగ్. This is related to that. This is the world between wars, part 2 related information and mapping skills. The picture shows that marching of Bolsheviks on the Red Square during the Russian Revolution. Okay, see this timeline chart and answer these questions. First you have to observe this timeline chart and answer these questions. Bloody Sunday is related to which revolution? Bloody Sunday is related to Russian Revolution. Means blood. Okay. Who was the Tsar abdicated during the Russian Revolution? Tsar Nicholas II. He was abdicated from the throne from Russia. Observe here. Here it is mentioned clearly. Debates over socialism in Russia, 1850s and 1880s. Formation of the Russian Socialist Democratic Workers' Party, when it was 1898. The Bloody Sunday and the revolution took place in 1905. Understand? 2nd March in 1917, abdication of the Tsar. And 24th October, Bolsheviks uprising the Petrograd. Understand? 24th October, Bolshevik uprising in Petrograd, means they attacked. The civil war took place in Russia in 1918 to 1920, the period, civil war period. The formation of Comintern in 1919, beginning of collectivization in 1929. Okay, why do Bolsheviks protested in Petrograd in 1917? Women took out the procession means they are demanding that peace and bread. Procession means here doing that strike. What is meant by Comintern? Comintern is the international organization to spread communism. This is very important, definitely in the examination will give you this kind of questions. What is meant by collectivization of agriculture? You know that in Russia all the farmers of the village pulled up their lands and worked together, and produce was dividing among the members of the farms. This is called collectivization of agriculture. See this. Who was in the photo? The leader Lenin. To whom he is addressing. Addressing means he is giving that speech. Addressing to the workers. Understand? Workers of Russia. Next picture, see. This is a poster in USSR during World War. It is saying that more metal, more weapons. Very important. More metals, more weapons. Understand? Observe that picture number 5. After the Great Depression, the US stock market collapsed. A New York offers to sell his roadster after losing his money in the stock market crash. He is ready to sell their vehicles. Next picture, see here. This picture shows how women accused of protecting Jews being publicly punished. That observe this picture. Next, how do you think that victory on Auschwitz and liberation by the Soviet Union led to an easy success for the Allied nations? After the liberation of Auschwitz, the Allied got victory in Europe. So, I can say so. So, like that you have to answer that. What were the main incidents which occurred in 1941 in the world's history? 1941. The main incidents occurred in 1941 are Germany invaded the USSR. Mass murders of the Jews began from this, and United States of America joined the Second World War. In which country Weimar Republic was proclaimed? It is in Germany. This is one timeline chart about Second World War. Proclamation of the Weimar Republic in Germany in 1918 November month. Hitler became Chancellor of Germany January 30 in 1918. Germany invaded Poland beginning of the Second World War September 1st in 1939. Germany invaded the USSR 1941 June 22nd. Mass murders of the Jews began June 23rd, 1941. The United States of America joins the Second World War. In which year? 1941, December 8. Soviet troops liberate Auschwitz. Which year? 1945, January 27. Allied victory in Europe, March 8 in 1945. So this kind of questions will ask in the examination. What was the party of Hitler? What was the response? Who was the responsible of the World War II? Immediate cause of World War II. So like these questions. Okay. You have to answer according to that timeline chart. See, this is the picture related to that. Jewish slaves. This is also map related. Very important. Map reading. Observe. Is completely marked that it was occupied by Japan, means controlled by the Japan. Remaining other countries were not controlled by the Japan. See that what questions are asked here. What is the area marked with boundary line? The area under the boundary line is the area under Japanese control in 1942. Right, any two Asian countries which were under the control of Japan. Burma, Korea and Asia, Asian countries under the control of Japan. What is Dutch East Indies is now called? It is Indonesia. Which region of China was under the control of Japan? This is also very important. Manchuria. The region Manchuria was controlled by Japan. Who are the members in this picture? In which conference? It is the Yalta Conference. It is mainly for the formation of UNO after Second World War. They sit together to establish the peace organization. Okay. Who are that leaders? If you observe from left, Winston Churchill, Franklin D. Roosevelt and Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin belonged to Russia. Winston Churchill belonged to the Prime Minister of United Kingdom, means England, and Roosevelt belonged to USA, President of USA. థ్యాంక్ యూ. మరిన్ని వీడియోస్ కోసం మా ఛానల్ని సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయండి, షేర్ చేయండి అండ్ ఫైనల్లీ క్లిక్ ఆన్ ది బెల్ ఐకాన్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.